Well, I do want to preface this by saying that, we are a pro-military, pro-police show for sure.
Yeah.
But we also, I don't think that it's fair to be pro-military or pro-police and not also acknowledge when those things or those institutions
When they do something wrong.
When they make mistakes. You have to take the good with the bad in anything.
Yeah.
So
Right.
when you have incidents like with George Floyd, we definitely, from what we know and what we've seen, which we've seen and know just as much as you have, the officers were definitely at fault.
They fucked up.
Yes.
Big time.
There's no justification. He wasn't squirming. He wasn't
No.
resisting.
No.
He was laying there saying, I can't breathe.
Right. And what also, too, I do want to let it be known, as of recording, which it is 10:45 at night, and it is May 28th, the autopsy has not been completed. So we don't know for a fact.
Also, all 4 responding officers in that video have been terminated.
Yes.
Yeah.
They've all been fired as it stands now. But my point is...
Which is rightfully.
His-
Because even the 3 other officers, sorry not to keep cutting you off, 3 other officers...
You love cutting people off.
That's also true. But the 3 other officers there should have known also at that point is,
Yeah.
hey, you kind of need to figure your shit out right now.
Intervene.
Yeah.
Oh, hell
Yeah.
yeah. Someone should have stopped him and be like, hey, bro, hey, come on,
Right,
stand up.
you're on his neck.
Move
Yeah.
something.
Not
Like,
not
I got this.
Upper back,
I
not
got him.
shoulder.
Yeah, force is only meant to be applied to the point of gaining compliance.
Stopping the threat.
That's
Yes.
it. Once the threat has stopped, and usually the threat is deemed stopped once that person is in restraints, most of the time.
Most of the time.
Now, it's not to say that someone can't mess up a cop or a CO or whatever while they're still in restraints, because they definitely can. They can headbutt you, they can spit, they can kick, they can still run.
They can still shoot you in handcuffs.
Yes, there's a
Right.
number of things that people can do in handcuffs. So you have to take every situation as individualized as it is, because it's a different situation with every person. But in this case, there was no need for what happened.
No, absolutely not.
So-
And,
It was preventable. It was avoidable.
Yes.
well, and I also think it's bullshit because it's also, people are getting to the point where they're so quick to call the cops and flat out lie. Because didn't the lady who called on him say that she was being attacked?
On George Floyd?
Yes, on George Floyd.
No.
Or was that a different
No.
one?
No.
That was the central
That was the
park
lady
one,
at the
right?
park.
Which is also BS because she was also choking her dog in that video.
Yeah, and she got fired from her job as well.
Yeah, good. Fuck her.
Yeah. The reason that he was even originally stopped was for counterfeit money.
Right. It was the clerk at the place noticed that he tried to pay with a $20 bill
That was fake.
that was fake. So according to the owner, because I saw a little interview, he said that the employee was just following their procedure, their protocol when encountering a fake currency. So
Right.
call the police.
You know,
Right.
by the- yeah.
And when the police showed up, Floyd was still
He was
outside of
chilling.
the store.
Just chilling.
Right.
So he was still in the area.
Right. So they arrive on scene. They confront him about the incident. What he was being, if I remember reading correctly, he was verbally resistant to step out of the vehicle, but he eventually did comply with that. And then, of course, that led to it. The situation escalated to where they felt to go hands-on with him to keep him restrained. But we do not. There is no one sitting at this table. No one that we know. Do not believe that what the cops did in Minnesota was justified.
Absolutely not.
It was not justified. Now, here is the problem. The problem is, firstly, the way that the story is conveyed. Every headline across the United States, hell, even the world, was read as white officer kills black man. In the event that there's any other officer involved shooting, the headline is never white officer kills white man.
Right.
Or black officer shoots Hispanic man.
Right.
It's never, ever presented that way.
They're just trying to stir the pot.
That's it.
Always.
It is, you are pitting one side, or not necessarily organization or institution, but you're pitting one group versus another. If you read a sports headline, and it never says baseball game ends 3-2. No, it says Dodgers beat Red Sox 3-2, because they always do. And
Oh, I'm sorry. What happened in the World Series?
we don't want to talk about that. Anyway.
Oh, that's right. Because you guys, I'm pretty sure, got swept.
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, no,
Talk
but
shit and get hit.
the problem is, but see, my point in saying that is that you are
You were defining everything,
You're
not.
you're making two two separate sides. There was the Dodger side and there was the Red Sox side. So by sectionalizing each party,
you're setting up the fight.
Right, exactly. Now, again, the cops were wrong. We're probably going to say that 100 times while we talk about this.
And I'm going to say it 100 more.
Right. But that is where I have the problem. And then the result that is happening right now,
the reaction to it is not.
Is not.
It's not anywhere close to justifying what happened.
No. And it taking place in other cities as well.
Is it? I've only seen the
Yeah, there's been protests in L.A., there's been protests in Denver, there's protests in New York.
I've seen protests, but not so much the riots that are going on.
I think what I read, it was 3 cities are having like major riots because of this. I don't know what cities. I'm assuming it's somewhere in LA also. Mm-hmm. I don't know where the other one is, but that's the article I read. It said 3 cities.
The idea, and I want to tell this to anyone who will listen. And I've had this argument on social media way before I ever started this podcast. Or that we've talked about this extensively over the years as long as we've known each other. So I'm going to ask the question, but I already know the answer to it. This is for the listener. Do you believe, either of you, whoever wants to answer first, do you believe that blacks or people of color are unfairly targeted or disproportionately targeted by police?
Disproportionately? Unfairly? No.
Okay.
And because I always try and have this conversation whenever somebody starts pulling up stuff like this is if you fit the bill, everybody on all sides does the exact same thing. Is if you see a guy walking in, he's got his pants pulled up, got a belt on, button-up T-shirt, and it's tucked in, you're not thinking twice about when that guy walks in.
Sure.
When you have a guy walking in, saggy pants, baggy-ass jacket or hoodie, kind of hat tucked down low,
right,
you look at him. Now, again, think about it, I did not say any race, but what did you picture? Yeah, that might be a little unfair.
A suspect person, yeah.
Right, but you know what I mean? Is like, when you think about it, you're like, oh, shit.
What profile does that fit?
Who does that fit? Is that fits somebody who's going to do something, more than likely, because the guy with a belt on and his shirt tucked in is less likely to fuck up.
Yes, and it's not to say that those people don't. They may commit crimes in other ways. But when you're talking about violent, spontaneous crime, more often than not, it is people that fit that description. And what you'll find through research, when it walks like a duck, it talks like a duck more often than not.
It's a seal.
It's not, though. But that's usually what it is. There's a reason that, you're not supposed to, law enforcement's not really taught to necessarily profile people.
No.
But if you take a look at your day-to-day life, as you're walking around the store, as you're walking through the parking lot with your kid, I can almost guarantee you profile and don't even realize that you're doing it. It's human nature to look for what could be perceived as a threat to you or someone you care about.
Right. You see someone, you're walking in the parking lot or something, you see someone approaching you, and let's say they got some tats on their face, they got some baggy clothing, maybe they're talking, cursing or whatever, just foul language or something.
Talking in that Ebonics. Wow. Hey, white people talking Ebonics too. Don't be racist.
Yeah.
All right. So you see this person walking, you're probably going to be like, okay, like keep an eye on this guy because you don't know what he's doing. But that's not to say that people with tattoos or facial tattoos are bad people.
We all have tattoos, none on our face, but we all have tattoos. We're not saying, and Walden and I, you will never see Walden and I outside of work without a hat on. Yeah. I don't care if I just got a haircut, it doesn't matter. I don't leave the house without a hat.
My hairline's not even as bad as Tori's, and I still wear a hat.
That's because you're going bald.
No, because when I have a haircut, it's not as bad. But within a few days, as my hair starts growing back, it's obvious that my hair's, thinning out.
Receding.
But I never leave the house without a hat. And I wear my hat backwards 99.9% of the time.
100%.
You will never see me with a hat
this
forward.
This is turned around when it's too bright out and I forgot my sunglasses.
That's it.
Or when I'm showing off the logo because this is a Golden Knights themed episode.
Yeah.
Well, not really, but.
And then in any other case, I have a hat backwards. So I get it. We're normal people just like you guys are. But what I'm trying to say is, if you're out there believing that, police are target black people and black people are treated unfairly by law enforcement and whatever else, the truth is that there is no factual or statistical information to back that claim. What you're being fed by the news and the media is simply
is the 1%.
right. Not
Even 1%.
less than 1% of what happens in law enforcement on a day-to-day basis.
Let me give you guys another example, which is going on more so now. You're out in public, someone starts coughing or sneezing. Mm-hmm. What do? You fucking turn and look at them like, oh shit,
Right.
he's got the Rona.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Why?
profiling.
He might have a tickle in his throat.
Sure.
Right.
Right.
I've seen plenty of videos since the Rona's come out of like Asian people who cough and people
Flip
mob
out.
them.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And is that racial profiling?
100%.
In that case, yeah.
Right.
It is. So, don't sit here and try and think that you're above reproach or you're somehow, on the right side of this.
Holier than thou.
What happened is awful. It's wrong. It's
Terrible.
not the way that things should be done. And I actually read that kneeling on the neck is a part of their use of force policy. You're allowed to do that.
So they've got a back ass fucking policy that needs to be updated.
Right. But as long the only way that you're allowed to lean on the neck is if you are not restricting airflow. What I've seen is what actually caused the asphyxiation was them leaning on his back later.
Putting pressure on the lungs.
Was not allowed because he was a larger dude.
I was gonna say because the video kind of cuts in and out from everyone I've seen. I haven't seen like the full unedited.
Yeah, it
version, so-
goes from him and it moves over and it goes back to him and it moves over. But I mean, you can.
Yeah, like you see, like there's one point where he's still kind of like, I can't breathe, like help me, and then the next one, he's clearly dead.
And
Yeah.
another thing that's been happening recently, and this has been going on dating all the way back to what was the first one in Missouri? I can't think of the name right now.
Is that Garner?
No. It was
What are you talking about right now?
the first police shooting of the unarmed black guy. It's what started
Oh,
Black
the
Lives
Hands up, don't shoot thing.
No, that's not Trayvon Martin.
No.
That was
Trayvon Martin's
that was
part of it
Florida,
too.
right?
Yeah. No,
He got
it's
shot in
Missouri.
the back by George Zimmerman.
But there was another, like, I can't breathe.
Yeah,
one
that was
also.
the Philando Castle, I think it was, which that
Yeah.
one was somehow deemed justified.
There's so many that it's hard to keep track of now. But again,
So
as
the
they're
hands
pulling
up,
out-
hands up, don't shoot was August 9, 2014, the shooting of Michael Brown in Ferguson,
Brown.
Missouri.
That's the
Yeah.
one. That's the one I was thinking of. So that's what kind of started this whole wave. And what's happened since then is that there's a large number of police officers that have had a difficult time policing those communities because they're afraid of being accused of discrimination.
Right.
When that is the beat that they have to work. Mm-hmm. So what I wanted to do here, and you guys can make me shut up whenever you want, is I wanted to give
Can we though?
no, probably not. But I did want to give some type of statistical information to back what we're saying. We're not just throwing this out there. We're not just biased because we do support police and law enforcement. It's not that. I want to help people understand these are the numbers.
These are strictly actual statistics from reputable sources. It's not just some numbers we're
DOJ.
making up.
Yeah, we're not just saying this. This is real. This is real shit. So, all right. So, according to one Washington State researcher by the name of Lois James, she found that police officers were less likely to shoot unarmed black suspects than unarmed whites or Hispanic ones in simulated threat scenarios. Harvard economics professor Roland Fryer, who is black, analyzed more than 1,000 officer-involved shootings across the country and concluded that there is zero evidence in racial bias in police shootings. In Houston, he found that blacks were 24% less likely than whites to be shot by officers, even though the suspects were armed or violent.
Now, do you think that's because they're scared of possibly being
It would have to be. It would have to be.
Right. When you have a significant percentage lower, because it's I don't want to be the next.
Yeah.
I don't even know what this fucking guy's name is, but the next cop who fucked up.
All right.
right? Like they're gonna say I'm fucking racist because I shot this guy, even though he's got a gun.
Sure.
I'm scared to shoot him because of the reprimand that I might receive. I'm gonna lose my job, everything. I'm gonna lose everything.
Reputation or be charged or investigated. And
Which
then,
that I will say I don't know the cop's name right offhand because I'm reading so many different names right now. That guy should be charged and in prison within months.
sure, he probably will be.
By the end of the year,
Yeah.
he will have at least a life
And
sentence.
the other three who are complicit in not stopping it.
Right.
They're just as accountable. So another study was done by the Washington Post Police Shooting Database and Federal Crime Statistics revealed that 12% of all whites and Hispanics who die of homicide are killed by cops. Okay. By contrast, only 4% of black homicide victims were killed by cops. So more whites and Hispanics are killed by police. There's no debate in that. Now, you could argue that blacks make up a less percentage of the country. Okay, whites obviously outnumber blacks. Okay, And that is true. So blacks make up 26% of police shooting victims, all right? But only 13% of the national population. So the Department of Justice says...
And where is this data from?
That's a part of the Washington Post study.
Okay, and then also to back this up from census.gov website, it says the Black or African American alone percentage of the population is 13.4%. So yes, 13%, and
Right.
it's right there.
Exactly. So that's from the census. This is also, that was the information I just gave was from the Washington Post. So this is from the Department of Justice. Blacks were only about 15% of the population in the 75 largest counties in the U.S. They were charged with 62% of all robberies, 57% of murders, and 45% of assaults. In New York City, blacks commit over 3/4 of all shootings, though they are only 23% of that city's population. Whites, by contrast, commit under 2% of all shootings in the city, though they are 34% of the population. New York's crime disparities are repeated in virtually every racially diverse city in America.
I mean, I believe it.
So,
And it sounds terrible, but it also comes down to is what culture glorifies the gangster, anti-cop.
right.
You know, it's like when you come up in that environment, which I'm not trying to profile, but it's like a lot of them do.
I wouldn't say, well, I don't know. I don't know if I can compare it to culture because I don't know enough about culture,
Well,
obviously.
Tori,
Well, no, absolutely.
that's half your culture.
Absolutely. No, it's what I grew up listening to, especially, I'm 30.
Okay, so you're talking about music.
Okay, music, yeah.
Okay.
And
That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about like culture in general, like the way families are or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
In any race.
Yeah.
You're talking about music. That's the only thing I can relate it to.
Well, that goes to his point. It's a part of that because that's all tied into culture. You know
Right.
what I'm
When
saying?
you hear "fuck the police,"
That was
now,
literally
granted,
a song.
That was literally a song
By NWA.
I love that song.
And
Yeah.
what does NWA stand for?
I can't say it.
You could
Yeah,
say
you
it.
can.
Niggas with attitude. That's what it stands for. I'll
That's
say
what it stands
for.
for.
Niggas
Yeah,
with
it
attitude.
does.
That
That's
is
what
an
it stands
actual
for.
name.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
People know that. I think so. You guys should know that.
And if you didn't know,
Now you know.
Right.
you guys know the rest of that.
So here's the thing. All right. More blacks kill each other than any other race, and it's not even close.
What?
Okay. In 2014, there were over 6,000 blacks who were murdered, more than all white and Hispanics homicide victims combined. Okay. And
Does it say where those took place?
it doesn't say the city.
Because I also want to say that's probably Chicago, Detroit, New York.
Oh, I have a statistic about Chicago. You're gonna like here.
Sorry. I'm also saying L.A. Where also they have very strict gun laws. Not to kind of bring this all around, but at the same time,
That's
that
a
just
whole
shows.
nother
That's a
episode.
whole
Right.
nother can of worms.
That's all
yeah.
right. We'll
When-
save that for later.
Whenever you're done, I got a few stats, or not stats, data.
Drop it like it's hot.
I got three more. here.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. So
Well, I could piggyback off of your stuff.
X gonna give it to you. Calm down.
So of those 6,000 blacks who were murdered, like I said, that's more than all whites and Hispanics combined. All right. Now, those are not killings by police or non-white by white civilians. It's by, like I said, by other black people. All right. So statistically speaking, a police officer is 18 and a half times more likely to be killed by a black male than an unarmed black male is to be killed by a police officer. And this is the last part that I'll throw in there. In Chicago, through the first 6.5 months of 2016, there were over 2,300 people shot. That's a shooting an hour during some weekends.
Wow.
Okay.
That's kind of crazy.
Right. The vast majority of those victims were black. During this same period, the Chicago police shot 12 people.
But isn't shooting people illegal?
They were all armed and dangerous.
Just saying.
Right. That's 1/2 of all shootings.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. So my point in saying all that, and then Torres is going to throw some more information at you. Police
Throw some more knowledge at you.
Police do not and are not unfairly targeting black people. Black people, unfortunately, and I'm black. If you're 21 episodes in and you haven't realized that yet, man, you need
It's
to catch
fair.
up.
How would
That's
we know?
100% fair.
How could we tell, Tori?
Yeah.
Right. I'm black. I mean, I don't like to see.
From the waist up.
Absolutely not.
From the credit score down.
Absolutely not.
From my father left me.
All those other black stereotypes. But no, I mean,
How'd you like last week's beer?
Huh?
Last week's beer.
What was it? I don't even remember.
Oh my god, are you
Oh,
serious?
the watermelon beer. That's right.
He's like, I gave it a 10.
It's pretty good.
11 out of 10.
Would have been better with some chicken, but no. But it's that's just not the case, man. If they didn't proactively police those neighborhoods like they started in the mid '90s, inner city murder would be much higher than what it is now. They started doing that, like I said, in the mid '90s, where they were basically police started to kind of implant themselves in those neighborhoods to be more seen. Violent crime has gone up. In 2015, it rose anywhere from 54% in Washington, D.C. to 90% in Cleveland. Overall, in the nation's 56 largest cities, homicide has rose 17% together, and that was a one-year spike. So it was one of the largest in history.
I think a lot of the reasons for the increase in crime is because there's an increase in population. It just makes sense.
Do we have that big of a population increase though?
I don't know.
I don't think it can be that much of a population increase to have that much of a jump.
That's true, but I think it would contribute to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could for sure.
Yeah, I'm not doubting that at all.
I mean, Torres, what info did you want to throw in there to kind of go with all that?
So back to the point you made about homicides.
Uh-huh.
All right, so this information is coming from, let's see, this is the FBI. And this is from 2017 because it's the only one that has any published data that breaks it down by race. Mm-hmm. There's other data for 2018 and 19, but that's not broken down by race, at least that I could find. So this is directly from the FBI website. So in 2017, for murder and non-negligent manslaughter, the number of arrests, the total was 9,468. Now, committed by whites is 4,188, black or African American, 5,025, American Indian or Alaskan Native, 108, Asian, 127, Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander, 20. Mm-hmm. Now, already, obviously, you can tell these crimes committed by blacks versus whites, I don't want to pit them against each other, but it's close to numbers, is almost 900 higher on the black side compared to the white.
Right.
Now, those numbers are still high, obviously, sure. Any amount of death, right? But the problem here, or I don't know, the numbers, if you want to look at them, is that the U.S. Census Bureau,
the population,
how many people are in the U.S., and this is from 2020 because the data is up here. So I don't know how far off it'd be from 2017 to 2000.
Now, hold on. I know this is a side note. Did you guys actually respond to the census?
I didn't.
No.
Did you?
Yeah, of course I did. So.
No, I know you. No, we did online.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't do the paper.
So I was just thinking about that is because you keep saying that's a census. Is how much do they actually respond to that? Like, how much do people actually respond to that?
And we can't determine that. This
right,
is the information we have.
There's no way to prove how much we have one way or the other.
Right, and I couldn't give you an exact number on what the exact population is, aside from going from the census.
Yeah, there's no other way of knowing.
But these percentages haven't changed much since 2017 to 2020. So this is from July 1st, 2019. This is what the census says. It says that this is by race and Hispanic origin. So the census says that white alone percent. I'm guessing strictly white. 100,
only whites allowed.
Right, 100% white makes 76.5% of the population. And the population was marked at 328,239,523.
That does not sound right at all.
That's what
I'm
it says.
sorry. No, and I get it. That's coming from the census. I'm just saying is.
You think there's more people in the U.S. than this?
I honestly think there is.
Well, you're probably right, but
because again, as it comes down to how many people actually filled it out.
Right. This is
how many people care about filling it out.
This is as close as we can get to a
I'm not taking fucking Joe Blow's fucking guesstimate at it.
Yeah.
Right. So this is whites 76, 0.5% of the population. Black or African American, 13.4%, just like you stated earlier from your article. American Indian, 1%. Asian, 5.9%. Hispanic, 18.3%. And then there's another one that says white alone, not Hispanic or Latino, 60.4%. I don't know exactly what that means. But
What the fuck does that mean?
what the hell is even that? But okay, so look at the numbers. If only 13.4% of the population is black or African American, yet they have more numbers for this specific crime, murder and non-negligent manslaughter, 900 more than compared to white, and the lower numbers over here. That's a higher percentage compared to the other races. Like, if you compare the total numbers of people compared to the amount of crime committed by that race.
Yes, absolutely. That's what kind of what we spoke on earlier, is that they're the second largest group of the population in the country, but yet they commit the most
Third
crime.
largest. They're not even the second largest.
Oh yeah, that's right.
If I remember right, you said
Hispanics are a little bit higher.
Hispanics are second.
Hispanics outnumber.
So if we were to break it down by the total number of murders, and we multiplied it by 13%, that would be 1,230. But the numbers here are 5,025.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, the point of all this, though, what I want to make very clear is that what we're trying to say is that trying to ostracize police and say that all police are bad, they all they're all assholes and thugs and they just want to kill black people and they're trying to hurt people.
False.
It is absolutely incorrect. It is not true. The vast majority of police officers are good people just trying to do the right thing. They go to work, they do their job just like you do. Okay? Do police officers make mistakes? Yep, and so does that guy that you work with.
Yeah, and I also want to say that's why I also never agree with the Colin Kaepernick kneeling, is because he was like, "Oh, this is against police brutality." It's like, but he pointed out again, is the 0.5% of cases. Like, if it was a real quote unquote pandemic, sorry to use any other word, if it was a real issue, then I would agree with it.
Sure.
But the fact that you're talking about 0.5% of all crime, because I will call it, is some of these that they point out are crimes.
Yeah.
Is you're pointing out 0.5% of all crime.
I have crimes broken down or by type of crime here, and I mean, I can give you some more facts because if you want to look at the rape, whites, out of the 18,063 whites.
We rape way more.
White people rape.
White people be like.
Yeah, you guys love raping people. It's
just saying.
White is 12,187. Blacks,
3/4 of that fucking poll are white.
Black, 5,182.
So less than half.
Robbery, whites, 32,000. Blacks, 40,000.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not to say, I'm not saying whatever race commits more certain types of crime, but I mean...
No, that's exactly what it's saying. Black people commit more violent crime. That's just the truth.
Well, we got
more violent crime. Not necessarily more crime in general, just more violent crime.
Yeah, more violent
Which
crime.
is fair to say. Because who does more embezzling?
Okay, so...
White people. Yeah. Blue collar.
Who does more drug trafficking?
Hold on, before you guys get ahead of yourselves. According to the FBI, it says violent crime, and I don't know how they classify a violent crime,
Probably
but
anything that involves some type of violence.
What do you mean?
Duh.
hold on. Let me tell you, because it's got a little number by it, violent crime. So it's listed on here as violent crimes are offenses of murder and non-negligent manslaughter, rape, robbery, and aggravated assault. Property crimes are offenses of burglary, larceny, theft, motor vehicle theft, and arson. So
It's including burglary in there?
No, it's
no,
not.
no, it's not.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
But it's including rape. So that's where the white people get dinged right there.
Yep. White
So,
people be like,
if you want to take their the violent crime numbers, hold on. All right, violent crime. The total was 404,236. Whites, 236,590. Blacks, 151,744.
so wait, there were 404,000 total.
total.
Okay,
Right.
sorry, I was just making sure. You threw me off a little bit on that.
Yeah, but still, it looks like, what, 70,000 less from blacks compared to whites. But again, if you break it down by percentages, it's still really fucking high.
Yeah.
13% compared to 75%.
Yes, it's exponentially higher when you have less people who are committing that much crime.
Even though it's not more overall, if you break it down by percentages, yes, it's a lot more.
That plays back into the law of averaging. You look at the number of people that is more likely to do this certain thing. You know what I'm saying? So you have a higher percentage or higher odds of being violently attacked or a random act of violence against you from a black person than you do a white person. That's just the truth.
And the thing about this is that the news and the media could take these numbers, which are actual stats from a reputable website like the FBI, a reputable source, and then spin the numbers. Like, well, look, whites commit 70,000 more violent crimes than black. But then they won't give you the rest of the data, which is blacks make 13.4% of the population compared to 70-something% of the whites.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what they do.
And then people read that like, oh my God, look at this.
Yeah.
It
fuels the narrative, and that's what they're trying to do. And it like I said, it pits two different groups against each other when it doesn't need to be that way. It's, unfortunately, these things happen. People make mistakes at their jobs. The difference is that the mistakes that police officers make, or even military members make, have a lot higher repercussions than you forgetting to add that thing to that customer's order, or not ringing someone up correctly, or whatever it is that your job may be.
Right. There's assholes everywhere. Any race, any age. There's assholes out there, and I'm not talking about just someone being fucking rude or whatever. There's legitimate people out there that are just fucking straight up assholes that don't give a fuck about anyone else, don't care about anything else, and they're hired by anyone, not just law enforcement. It could be the fucking McDonald's worker, the person working at Walmart, whatever. How many people do you have working at fast food places spitting in someone's food?
Yeah.
Or fucking scratching their fucking balls and then making the food or something.
Unknown number.
Right. Dude, I just ordered food yesterday at Burger King and they forgot one of my things. People make mistakes. It happens every day.
And not to say we're comparing someone forgetting something in your fast food order to killing someone.
No.
But
that's what my point is, though, is that when someone does something wrong in any other line of work, it's either that, by and large, it's kind of whatever. We can either fix it, we can refund it, we can redo the deal if it's in a sales deal, something along those lines. But when people make mistakes with a badge on their chest, it can be the difference between life and death or someone's freedom.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's why those mistakes, they unfortunately can't be made. There's no room for error in this line of work.
But everyone's fucking human.
Exactly.
Everyone's gonna make a mistake here and there, and people, law enforcement or military, they go through background and stuff, and there's still people that are gonna slip through the cracks.
Yes,
and it happens.
I tell this to people all the time who, if you think that you can be a cop, go ahead, find your nearest police department or, Department of Corrections or whatever. Go ahead and start that process. See what it takes to even get a chance to be in those guys' position. 98% of you listening to this right now, and probably the other 98% of the people that couldn't be a cop. I almost guarantee it. You wouldn't make it.
I can't be a cop.
You wouldn't make it through the background. You think you're a decent human being, and you probably are. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that we have any drug dealers or murderers or rapists listening to us or pedophiles or whatever. I'm not saying that.
They could be.
If you're a pedophile, fuck you.
Yeah. I'll tell you that right
100%.
now.
Hey,
kill yourself.
You want to be on the show? Any pedophiles, come on the show. Let's see what happens. We don't know what happens on these shows.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is by and large, the vast majority of the general population couldn't be a police officer because they wouldn't even pass the qualifications to do it. You think you submit an application on a Friday and they hand you a badge and a gun on Monday, you're high. It takes forever.
6 to 8 months.
6 to 8 months, and that's in a medium-sized department like here. Try LA, New York, Seattle, Miami, Portland. You're talking a year, maybe even 2 years for some of these big-ass departments. It is not an easy process. They vet you and everyone you've ever fucking known and everyone they knew. Okay, before they start handing you any type of paperwork. They'll give you a uniform way before they'll give you a badge.
Oh, yeah.
And then you got 8 months of an academy. Oh, guess what? After the academy ends, you got a year of probation.
Yeah.
So it is not a game. It is not easy.
After the academy, you have more training.
Right. The vast majority. And police make up the smallest percentage of employment in the country. It's the lowest number of... There's less police officers than there are in any other regular blue-collar job. So it is extremely difficult to do this. And again, what they did in Minnesota was inexcusable. They should be charged, and we hope they are. But
fuck that guy.
The looting, the fuck the police, and all cops are bad guys. It's just not
Setting
true.
buildings on fire, setting the precinct on fire. That's like what is being accomplished by that?
No, you're not solving anything.
Nothing. And then my question to the people partaking in these actions is, what's going to happen when someone breaks in your house?
Yeah.
Who are you going to call?
Right.
Ghostbusters.
Exactly.
Exactly.
But you're the first one to fucking have 911 on speed dial. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Oh, they didn't come fucking help me.
Yeah, right.
Yep. So
you're going to complain either way. You're going to complain because of the actions that were taken by one or two officers, and then you're going to complain about the actions taken by a whole department. Oh, they didn't show up fast enough or whatever. But you're still calling for them. Mm-hmm. Who are you going to call?
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. Call Pookie and Ray Ray. Have
So I mean, if you're that much anti-police or anti-military or anything like that, sign a waiver. Don't ever send help to my house. Don't
Right.
Don't ever file a police report. My car is broken into. Fuck no. You're on your own.
Shit.
Yeah.
You're on your own at that point.
Yeah. You can't. They're essential. Like I just put it that way.
Right.
They're essential.
Wow.
You can't not have them. You know what I'm saying? So, but just what we're saying is take the information, do this research for yourself. We're not making this shit up. You can look it up yourself. It's unfortunate what happened, but not all cops are bad guys. Stop burning shit down and stealing and looting. It doesn't solve anything, nor does kneeling when you're kneeling for irrelevant or unnecessary purposes. Right. There's no information.
Not even unnecessary, just misinformed purposes.
There you go. That was the word I was looking for.
Right. So, I mean, look at the facts, look at the data, look at the numbers, compare the numbers yourself. I mean, it's pretty simple math, percentages. We're not over here supporting cops killing people of any race.
No.
Or anyone killing anyone for that matter. But it's just look at the actual data. Don't just go off of Facebook posts. Don't just go off a video of one incident. Yes, what happened was fucked up. It was completely fucked.
Yep.
No one is debating that fact. But don't just take one isolated incident or even different incidents throughout the world, because as it is, like you stated earlier, Tori, police are more scrutinized than anyone else. So any fuck up that happens, any mistake made, it's blown out of proportion. Mm-hmm. So don't scrutinize that.
Yep.
Take the actual data, do your research, look at real data. Don't look at some fucking Joe Blow's Facebook post that is anti-police or anti-military. Look at real data. Look at reputable sources.
Yep.
Talk to people.
And then make a decision after that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So I think that's about enough of that. We'll see what comes down, and maybe next week we'll cover what the medical examiner ends up finding out.
And if you have something to say, if you want to give your counterpoint to our argument, go ahead, please.
Yeah.
Reach out, leave us a comment, leave us a message. Shit, we want some fucking feedback.
We'll fucking Skype you.
Yeah. Anything.
Please. Do I need to say something super offensive? Like
someone just reply.
Argue with us.
Yes.
Stop leaving us unread. It's not nice.